Joining us now on SportsCenter is Kirk Ferentz, who has been the head coach for 21 seasons at Iowa in the Big Ten. Kirk, how would you describe today, a day we've never experienced before?
I think, first of all, just disappointing. And it all starts with our players. You think about how hard they've worked. And a lot of people have talked about how important football is, but I think our players, day in and day out demonstrate how important it is through their commitment, their work. And that goes back to March 13th, actually, when this stuff all kind of kicked into gear. So, it's been a really tough road for them. I admire the way they've been able to stay focused and stay on point. And as you can imagine, today was a very disappointing day.
Kirk, this decision by the Big Ten comes a day after saying your players want to play, the coaches want to coach. What did you tell your players now that the season has been postponed?
I got to say this. Okay, a lot of people have been very outspoken about how badly they want to play. I can't imagine being a college coach and not wanting to play, not wanting to compete. And more so our players. They're the ones that do the work. They train year round. And over the last, 4 or 5 months, they've, I think really demonstrated great self-discipline, most importantly, away from the building, away from the things that we're doing football-wise. So, it goes without saying this is hugely disappointing because they invest a lot. This is what they live for. And when you play football, it's such a small window. So it's very disappointing. It's very emotional. There's not a lot we can say to make them feel better. And, at some point we'll have to move through this and, put our sights forward.
You mentioned everybody wants to play. Nebraska issued a statement from their chancellor, the president, the AD, Scott Frost, the coach, saying many of the things you just mentioned, but also at the end, we hope it may be possible for our student athletes to have the opportunity to compete. Have you considered the possibility of playing football in the fall outside the Big Ten?
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's my 31st year in the conference as an assistant and now as a head coach, 22nd year. The Big Ten's a tremendous conference. It always has been. I think always will be. So, we're proud to be a member of the conference. This decision was made as a conference, and we'll stand by the decision. Obviously, we're, as coaches, as players, we're all disappointed. It's not what any of us wanted. But, you have to have trust in people. And, we have some, I think, really wise decision makers in our conference. And ultimately, that was a decision they had to make based on information. As coaches, we aren't accessible to probably, or certainly can't process the same way they do. So, that's the reality of life. I do think it's unfortunate. And this is, not to give you too much commentary, but as you look at the college football landscape right now, I think it would be a better world if all 5 conferences could be in accord and operate in accord. I'm an older guy, getting old, but I've watched a lot. And I think it would be a better world if at some point we all come together and, act together as well. But, that day is obviously down the road a little bit. But to me, as we want to move forward, I think that would help.
I can tell you, I'm glad you said that because all of us feel that way. We wish we had a unified voice in this sport. This sport is so unique. And with that, let's talk about the NCAA's role here. What information do you guys have now moving forward about scholarships being honored and the ability to work out of the facility for your players? And there's so many layers here with the concept of spring football and bringing in more players and early enrollments. What information do you have that you could pass on to your players and their families?
Yeah, it's going to be paramount, Kevin. It's so important. And as I understand it, the 14th of this month, which is coming up close, a couple of days here, just rulings on eligibility. These are certainly unprecedented times, so they need to be addressed quickly and decisively, so we can all function. I'm concerned right now. I think everybody in our conference has to be concerned about our rosters getting rated, people, enticing players maybe to leave, come to their institutions. That's a reality. I mean, it's just the world we live in on a daily basis. It's going to be encouraged now, and I think it's imperative that the NCAA take action. Strong definitive action. And again, I hope at some point the 5 conferences can come together and, just agree on what the rules are and act accordingly.
There's hope to have spring ball here. At least that was announced by the Big Ten and the Pac-12. How realistic is that when we talk about the safety of players and this concept of 2 seasons in 12 months?
I don't think any of us have really considered it to a great extent. Our focus has all been on playing this fall. I can Share with you, I think that's been the focus of our coaches in our conference and certainly our administrators. Everybody's been focused on finding a way to make this happen. Now that we transition, we'll find a way. There is a way. I'm not sure what that looks like, both in terms of what we do in the spring. Certainly what we do in the spring is going to affect the fall. But looking at it over a 12-month period, there's got to be an answer to this and a way to do it and do it safely within reason. But it won't look the same as what we're used to, that's for sure.
Kirk, let's go personally here. Considering the offseason you've experienced with the outside investigation on the treatment of black players at the program and not having now football on Saturdays as a getaway for you after 33 years, for your players, for the entire Iowa community and the Children's Hospital, how do you reset for what lies ahead this fall without football on Saturdays?
I think we'll be fine. Really, since the players came back on June 8th, we've had great discussion, great conversation. You do something long enough, you learn it every day. And we certainly felt like we had a very healthy program. Back on December 27th, we beat USC in the Holiday Bowl. To win our 10th game, we felt great about where we were at. We felt great on March 13th when we left campus. And I feel better now. Our guys, we've had great dialogue, great conversation, great dialogue with former players. And I think the improvements we've made to our program have made us stronger. We've got a great group of guys on our team currently. I'm very disappointed they're not going to get a chance to compete, practice, and prepare, and be together for the next 5 months. But that is what it is. We'll deal with that, and we'll go back to work when they come back on the 24th and start class. But we got tremendous people here. I mentioned earlier, 31 years at Iowa. That's been a common denominator. We've had tremendous young people to work with. Great people on our staff, support staff, and that hasn't changed. So, we'll find a way. We'll make it work. And, whenever we get a chance to line up and compete, we'll be ready to go. I don't know how good we'll be, but we'll be ready to go and ready to compete.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.